Welcome back to M-Files Process Maps. In this session we will give you an overview on how to work with M-Files objects and documents in your process map. We will show you the basic options of the pane on the left-hand side. You will learn how to use static or dynamic links to objects and documents and automatically create object relationships. To use M-Files objects in your process map, you can drag and drop them from the left pane. There you will find a filter button on the top to choose from different predefined queries. Typically, these queries return a specific set of M-Files objects, like documents, for the use on the canvas. In the M-Files admin configuration, M-Files objects can be assigned to comparable symbols of the modeling notations. For example, you can map departments to the organizational unit symbol, or document objects to the data information or document symbol of the workflow notation. Any M-Files object that was not given a predefined symbol mapping turns into a rectangle with the class icon as the default appearance. Note that the name or title metadata attribute of the corresponding object is automatically assigned as a value. Therefore, double-clicking will not allow editing this label, since it is populated from the underlying M-Files object. It is also possible to replace an object easily by dragging and dropping a new object from the left side onto it. The graphical elements on the canvas are linked with the M-Files objects, so it is possible to look at the metadata card or even into objects or documents through the automatically created icons on the right side of the shape. To use the actions behind the gray icons in the designer, you need to enable them. Most commands will work right within the designer. Some commands, like navigating to another map, can only be tested in preview mode. For example, if you insert another process map as an object, it automatically creates an interface to navigate to this map. This allows you to quickly switch between maps or processes. However, please note that any stored changes to the metadata card may require an update of the current view or process map to be displayed. This update can be invoked by pressing Reload in the preview or by enabling and disabling the commands in the designer. In the properties of the shape, on the right, you can make changes to the added element that you know from your M-Files environment. Above the Properties menu, a bar is displayed, with buttons on the left side, which affect all objects of the process map. Here you can specify whether the Properties menu is displayed directly when selecting an object, and whether unused property fields are displayed. At the top right, there are buttons that open the metadata card and remove the linked object. The header of the Properties menu displays the icon of the object, its object type, its ID, and version. By selecting the version in the properties, you can specify whether you want to reference this version statically in the future, or whether the version changes dynamically when the M-Files object is updated. Sometimes the object type icon or class icon of the referenced M-Files object can get in the way. Therefore, you can hide the symbol of the object if it is already clear what kind of object the element represents, or you simply want to hide it from the user's perspective. Below, there is the option to toggle whether the M-Files object on the canvas can be replaced with a new object from the pane on the right, via drag and drop. If this option is toggled for a predefined shape, an M-Files object can be added to it, which then takes the appearance of the shape, adding the object's label and icon. The added object can be replaced just as easily via drag and drop. If the option is then deactivated, it ensures that the added object cannot be replaced. The plus icon in the left menu works similarly to the Create menu within the M-Files desktop client. Here you can create new objects directly in the designer and fill out the object's metadata card. This can be very helpful, so that you don't have to leave the designer every time you find that you are missing a specific object. When you save your process map, you can choose between the options Save and Save and Configure. Select the Save and Configure entry to open a menu with further options. As the name suggests, in the Relations tab, you can indicate whether all relations from and to correlating mFiles objects in your map are created and permanently maintained when saving. Of course, depending on the number of objects applied, this can be at the expense of performance. On the other hand, this can be very helpful, for example if you want to see which documents were referenced on which maps, or which departments were mentioned. With a click on Save, you leave the designer and get back to your mFiles client. There you can try out the actions in the map view.